You've caused quite a stir, Mrs. Ladomas. You married into that family. Now they're dead. What you didn't know is that this goes far beyond them. By surviving hide-and-seek, you've triggered a new game. This time against the High Council families. Double or nothing. This part will be familiar. They will try to kill you.
Welcome to our home.
Welcome to the Weekend Warriors video review for Radio Silence's Ready or Not, Here I Come. Note that there's no 2 in the opening title, so that was clearly added by Searchlight. I'm recording this on Tuesday night, March 17, which happens to be St. Patrick's Day with no significance. I saw this just a few hours ago at the Disney Screen Room in Soho, so I'm doing this review pretty soon right after. As someone who enjoyed the first movie quite a bit, and the few movies made by Radio Silence since then, I definitely should have been this film's target audience, so I was definitely very excited to see it. I did have a chance to rewatch the first movie at home by myself. Not the best way to watch these kind of movies. I loved the original movie when I first saw it, but in hindsight, I feel like Radio Silence has done a lot better work since then. We'll get more into that in a bit. Radio Not Here I Come begins exactly where the previous film ended in 2019, with Samara Weaving's Grace having just survived a night of deadly hide-and-seek with her new family after marrying into wealth and into Satanism. Grace is taken to the hospital in handcuffs since there are so many questions left about all the dead bodies and the fact that she's covered in blood, not her own. Once there, she's visited by her estranged sister Faith, played by Kathryn Newton, who happens to be her emergency contact. They haven't seen each other in about 7 years, and introducing Faith allows the filmmakers to create a fluid recap of the first movie for anyone going to see this movie unaware that it's a sequel and a continuation of the first movie. Since all the antagonists from the first movie are pretty much dead, they need to set up a new premise, and this time it involves a council of 6 families fighting for power both over the council and over the entire world. First, we meet Mr. Danforth, played by the absolute horror legend that is David Cronenberg. He clearly has unlimited power, and he's ready to find a successor, and he can't just go to his children, twins Titus and Ursula, played by Sean Hatosy and Sarah Michelle Gellar. No, first they need to deal with the bride, who killed an entire family in the council. This brings together an international group of hunters and killers who want to wield a ring that will give them absolute power. First, Grace and Faith have to take on a killer played by Kevin Durand, who doesn't want to wait for the official competition, which is another game of hide and seek. This time, Grace ends up being handcuffed to her sister, and they both have to survive. As with the first movie, it's a pretty simple premise of kill or be killed. And I have to admit that I have to be in the right mood and headspace for mindless violence like the stuff shown in these movies. There's only so much you could do with rich a-holes exploding, because it was such a surprise in the first movie, and this time, you're always expecting it to happen. I feel like Radio Silence have become far more accomplished filmmakers than they were 6 years ago. So it's a little bit of a bummer they chose to go back and continue or finish the story. But you can also tell how much better they are as filmmakers. Pairing Samara Weaving with Kathryn Newton ends up being a genius move. Not only does the sequel build this world around the idea from the first movie, but also adds more dimension to the character of Grace and more reason for her to fight back in order to protect her younger sister. Unfortunately, Weaving has to spend almost the entire movie in the same blood-soaked wedding dress she was wearing in the previous movie, with her and Newton constantly being sprayed in blood. I'm embarrassed to say that I wasn't really familiar with Sean Hatosy. I'm not even sure if I'm pronouncing his name right. He did a lot of movies in the 90s, and in recent years, he's done a lot more television. He's just really entertaining as Titus, who's like the real rich asshole, like the real worst of the worst here. I enjoyed seeing him with Sarah Michelle Gellar as these siblings who are constantly squabbling almost as much as Grace and her sister. Elijah Wood also has a fun character as a lawyer in charge of proceedings. Like Cronenberg, he's become such a horror and genre mainstay. So bringing him, Sarah Michelle Gellar, and Sean Hatosy were really big boom to the sequel. I don't think a lot of the other actors or characters are that great. It's fun stuff. They have knives, guns, blah, blah, bazooka. And the 2 sisters have to kind of run and hide, just like the first movies. They don't hide so much. They just try to run and get away, get out. I also have to say that I've seen the trailer for this movie probably about 100 times. It's another one of these trailers that was played over and over in front of other movies at my local theater. I've seen both trailers, teaser trailer and the regular trailer, red band trailers. They do give a lot away, at least in the setup in the first, like, maybe hour or so. There are some surprises towards the end, but I mean, seeing this trailer so many times means that when I finally saw the movie, I feel like I'd seen a lot of it. That's just something to take into consideration, because seeing so much of the trailers does take away from the actual movie. The last act is kind of fun and crazy because it goes to some unexpected places, and I generally was entertained, although this movie would probably have been more fun to watch with a crowd at a film festival like South by Southwest, rather than a screening room full of stodgy critics. I really like Ready or Not Here I Come. I'm not sure if I'd rush out to see it a second time. I mean, I didn't see the first one a second time, and I haven't seen any of their other movies since then, second time, to be honest. I'll give Ready or Not Here I Come 7 out of 10, which is moderate, pretty good, not great. I don't know. I think I recommend it. I think I liked it as much as Project Hail Mary. So if you're looking for 2 movies to see this weekend, I think you could do worse than those 2 movies. I don't know. It's not going to be for everyone. So I have to say that it's also not really horror. I mean, it's more like an action movie with some dark comedy. And yeah, there's lots of gore and there's Satanism. I mean, Satan plays a big part in the movie, and Hail Satan is said a lot in the whole movie. It's also like not the same kind of horror as like something like Undertone or other straight horror movies. This is more of an entertaining, fun action movie. Again, I think some people will like it more than others. I enjoyed it quite a bit. I just don't know if I'd see it again right away, but I wouldn't not see it again. How about that?
I can't believe you dragged me into this shit.
It's exciting. What exciting for me is terrifying for you.
Clear.